Hello and welcome to another episode of Issues and Insights. I'm Bryce Shumate from Hardin County Government, and I always tell you all that we've got a great show going on today, but actually this is a first because I've never gotten to interview my wife, Judge Kim Shumate, and she's here today because, man, school is just right around the corner, and one of the things that picks up as the new school year starts is Hardin County Teen Court. Judge Shumate, welcome to our show today, and I know that you're excited to get started into the new school year because it means that you start a new chapter in teen court.
You do know me, yes. I love teen court. It is a passion. It's why I do the job that I do, is a chance to get to work with teens and make a difference. And teen court is that chance. And yes, you're right. When the school year starts, teen court gets geared up.
But now it doesn't just start when the school year starts. You've been working with young people and with your planning committee all throughout this summer, because I know there's several nights that you've had to stay out because of things going on with them.
That is very true. As a matter of fact, I brought a couple of our executive committee members here, so in just a few minutes I'm going to let you meet some of them. And yes, we've been working all summer to get things prepared and to be ready for the new crew of students that are coming in August.
And Judge Shumate, you have an open house to get everybody acquainted with what teen court is. I think maybe some of the folks that may be watching today may not know exactly what teen court is, may even think that it's a mock trial type of thing, you know, that they have in some of the schools. Tell everybody what teen court is and what it's about and when it starts.
Okay. Well, teen court is an opportunity for local students, high school students, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors from all of our area high schools, including LaRue County, and then now we're also going over into Nelson County as well. Homeschool, public school, private school. It's an opportunity for students to come together and work with other students who have found themselves on the wrong side of the law, for example. We'll take actual juvenile cases and try them on the sentencing phase in the courthouse in E-Town. So on Thursday nights, teens take over the courthouse.
Awesome. And this is going to begin with an open house, so parents and students can actually see what it's all about, correct?
The only time we do mock trial is at open house. On open house is on Thursday, August the 23rd at 6:30 at the Justice Center, the new courthouse downtown. And we're inviting students and parents to come in and watch what we do, get a sample of what might be going on, meet some of our older students. Every question you want answered, you'll get answered that night.
And again, when is that?
It's on Thursday, August the 23rd at 6:30.
There you go.
At the Justice Center in
I
E-Town.
didn't hear you say what time it was earlier.
6:30.
And one thing they may want to know is since it is in a courthouse, there's certain things they got to remember. They're going through a magnetometer, so things like pocket knives, those kind of things that some of us might normally carry, they need to leave out in their car at home or whatever, so they don't set off the alarms and everything as you come in.
Even though it's after hours for most people, we do have a sheriff's deputy bailiff on site for security, so they do run the magnetometers, and the students that are there on our Thursday evenings are always safe and secure. We have a good group of adults that work with us, and then we always have a sheriff's deputy there that's a part of security that night.
And Judge Shumate, we thank you for doing that because I know it provides an opportunity for young people to get a little bit of a taste of law. And when I say that, whether they want to be an attorney, whether they want to be a police officer, a paralegal, it gives them a taste of what might be ahead in their future, correct?
Yes, and I often talk about teen court as being a career exploration like you've just explained, but there are many of our students who have absolutely no desire to go into a law-related field. They just want the chance to get more public speaking, work in community service, and just really be able to be a peer on a jury and make a difference in the life of a teen.
And I'm glad you said about community service because I know that you can get community service hours for being in teen court?
Yes, absolutely. Every hour you spend, if you're a volunteer, is considered community service. So if you're trying to beef up that college resume, it's a great place to get started.
So Judge Shumate, since this activity is all about young people, you brought some young people here today to talk to us about what's going on and give their perspective and their ideas on what's going on. How about we go talk to them real quick? Now, Judge Shumate was able to bring three of you all with her today to do the interview, and since teen court is truly about young people. I know she thought it would be great if you all gave your side and perspective of what's going on. And so today, so that y'all can pick up who's here today, I've got Terry Amos from North Hardin High School. You're a senior this year, right, Terry?
Correct.
And this is your second year in teen court, correct?
Yes.
And then I've got Amatis Davis. You're also from North Hardin High School.
Yep.
And you're in the 10th grade, correct?
Yes.
Sophomore this year?
Yep.
And this is your second year as well with teen court?
Right.
Okay. And then we have, he's chair, vice chair, and then the treasurer, John Woodring. John, you're from North Hardin Christian School, correct?
Yes, sir.
And 9th grade?
Yes.
Freshman this year. All right. Well, welcome to our show, you all. And I know it is cool to be able to talk about something that is going on in our community for young people. And we don't get to do this very often on our show, where we actually have young people give their perspective of what's going on. Usually we get to interview us older people and not talk to younger folks to see what's going on. So, John, I want to start with you. Judge Shumate said this is not a mock trial. You all actually have real trials with young people. In other words, it's geared toward underage, and when I say underage, under 18 individuals that have possibly gotten into a little skirmish or trouble with the law. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I said the wrong one. I'm starting with John. I'm looking at Terry. So, Terry, how much of a commitment does this take for young people to be able to do this?
Well, it only takes your Thursdays. Thursday night between usually 5:30 to 6 is when it starts. If you have a case, you get there a little bit earlier to prepare with maybe your defendant and your co-counsel. And if not, then you show up a little later to be like the jury foreperson or a bailiff or anything like that.
Okay. So you all have quite a bit of training that goes on before you actually start trials. How many weeks do you all train before you start your trials? Amatis, do you know?
I think it's like 6.
Okay.
Maybe.
6 weeks?
But for people who can't like make it, there's always video. We video the training so that you could catch up even if you can't really attend, which is what I did last year.
So do you all have other young people that may be like involved in band or sports that are actually able to participate? I see both of y'all, all three of y'all shaking your head. Is that right?
Yes. Just like she said, if you can't make it to the trainings, we videotape them online, and you just have to make them up before October 26th to
Okay.
be sworn in with the rest of us.
Yep.
Okay. And so is October 26th your all swearing in ceremony then?
No, it's when training ends. Our swearing in is, I think, November 4th.
It is Sunday, November the 4th at 2
Yeah.
o'clock at Pritchard Community Center. So I know it does take some dedication to do this. I'm going to start with you, Amatis. What made you want to do this?
Actually, I first learned about teen court in 7th grade. And it was just like, I don't really remember where I heard it, but I heard there was a teen court in Hardin County, and I was very interested in law. So that was like the thing for me. So I went to the website and I figured out that you can't join until high school. So I was bummed a bit, but then, and I forgot about it until one day the counselor's office made an announcement that anyone wants to sign up for teen court, come and sign up. So I did.
Awesome. John, I guess one of the things that some of the young people want to know is, if I'm not driving yet, and you and Amatis, neither one are driving yet, so if I'm not driving yet, how do I get there? And if my parents have to bring me, can they participate?
Yes, your parents can participate. Now, they can't be on the jury or be part of it, but they can watch you.
Okay. And so do they have to go through the training like you all do then?
Only 1 year.
Okay. And so they don't have to repeat it every year. Like if you were in all 4 years of your high school career, they only have to do the training one time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me ask you all this. Do they get to, are they allowed to sit in on the trials that you all do, Terry?
Yes, they're allowed to be part of they're not allowed to be part of the jury, but they're allowed to sit there and watch.
Okay.
Because since they went through the training, they have the confidentiality like the rest of us.
Okay. All right. That's what I was trying to get, the confidentiality part. I can't even say it, and I used to talk about it all the time. So when you all get ready to prosecute, I know when I was a police officer, I had teen court students call me to ask about cases that were going through court that I had written the citation or made the arrest for. Take them into custody. You don't arrest juveniles, you take them into custody. So have you all been able to do that anywhere you got to interview the person that made the initial arrest, or have you all done that where you were the prosecutor and did some of that? Okay. You have the ability to do that, so that y'all know. Also, I know that the attorneys prepare you all for cases when you all get ready to defend or prosecute. Tell me how that works, Amatis.
So after you sign up for a case, either prosecution or defense, you get like a date and a time for you and the rest of your counsel, which is the people who are doing the case with you, to meet up at the attorney's office.
Correct.
And you get a real prosecutor or a real defense attorney who actually looks over whatever you have on the case and helps you figure out how you're going to present it to the jury.
Has that been cool? Because I know you said you were interested in law. Has that been cool to meet the real thing?
Yes, it really was. It was, you always hear about like cases or what the results were, but it was cool meeting people who've actually gone through and been a part of real cases.
Sure. And John, did that, when you watch TV shows with all the attorneys on TV shows, how does real life compare to what you maybe watched on TV? Was it what you thought?
It's a lot quieter.
Okay. All right. What was it what you thought, Amatis?
There's a lot less of the judge banging her gavel.
Mm-hmm. She waits till she gets home to do that. I'll have to say that. What do you think, Terry? Is it different than what you had perceived or thought that you'd watched on TV growing up?
It is more different than you'd think.
How so?
Even going through the trainings and maybe participating in a mock trial, when you're actually in the real thing, you're more nervous because what you do actually has an impact on this person's life.
Oh, so you all get to actually make the decisions on the punishment, is that correct?
Right.
So how does that work? Do you actually have a jury panel? And who's the jury panel made up of, Terry?
When you get into teen court, every night when you enter, you're given a ticket, either the red ticket or blue ticket, and that's the courtroom you're going to go to. We usually have 2 set up, and then you're randomly drawn into the jury like you would be regularly.
In real life,
Yes.
Absolutely. Very cool. So have all 3 of you all sat on jury cases, been juror members, all 3 of you? Have you ever listened to something and felt bad for the person that was being tried? How so, Modest?
For sure, I can't go into specifics.
Sure, because of the confidentiality.
Like there are some cases whenever you're listening and like you can see both sides so clearly, because like whenever you're on jury, you can really see yourself. Like, what if I was in that box? What if I was giving that testimony? And like you can put yourself both in the shoes of the defendant and the prosecution.
Sure.
And because of that, it's really like, it's kind of surreal in a way, because you know that the decision you make back in the jury room is going to they're going to have to do whatever you like, the sentence that you put out for them.
Correct.
So it's just crazy how you can actually impact someone's life like that.
Do you think sometimes when you feel what they're feeling that it influences your decision on what the punishment might be?
Yep.
How so?
Like, it's usually like not what they did, but why they did it. Because the reason why they did something might be significant. It might, make what they did seem worse, or it might make what they did seem not as bad. Because, like reasons are what influences what decisions you make, so.
Terry, have you gotten to talk to anybody after they've been in teen court, say a defendant has been in front of you all? Have you gotten to talk to them after they've been through the procedure of being in a trial and the jury's gone through? Have you had any after comments from any of them?
Well, I've talked to one afterwards. Sometimes the punishments include having to sit on the jury panel for an X amount of cases.
So they get to be able to be tried by their peers. They get to hear some of the things that are going on.
Right.
Okay. And how's that work for them?
It looks like it's improving them. So
Okay.
it's a good punishment. I wouldn't even call it a punishment. I call it like actually helping them more than anything.
Several people may be watching. There may be people your all's age watching this show right now. Maybe parents watching them thinking, hey, I need to get my young person involved in this. What would you say to young people, Terry? And I'm going to go around the panel here. What would you say to some of the young people that would attract them to come to teen court?
The biggest thing for me is it's an impact in the person's life and in the community. Everything you do, defense, prosecution, you're making an impact for the community for the better.
Okay. And how do you think that helps you as a person too?
Well, whenever it's like a sense of pride. I know it's not the necessarily best thing, but knowing that you actually had an effect
On possibly
yourself.
changing that
Right.
person's life? Yeah, Amadis?
It's kind of like what Terry said, but also, you know how you always get told you can change the world with what you do. And usually it's not as straightforward as that, but with teen court, it actually is. So the environment is really positive, and there's no like negative connotation that you see sometimes in like TV shows where it's like, oh, you did this wrong. But it's all really positive and really trying to reconnect the defendant with the community.
And Amadis, I like the way you said that you can change the world. Explain that just a little bit. How do you think you can change the world there?
Like there's this saying where if you want to change the world, you always have to start by changing the people around you. Because if you change the people around you, they will in turn change the people around them. And with that, I mean...
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that through this program, there's several young people's lives that have actually gotten turned around because of what you all do and headed the right direction, correct? John, if you were going to talk to some of our folks out there in the TV audience, what would you say to them to attract them, to bring them into teen court?
That it's definitely a great opportunity because you get to see people from your community or people from different schools that you might not always see, and you get to connect with new people. And it also improves your public speaking a lot as you're always in front of people and talking.
So what if I was kind of shy? I was a little bit worried about speaking in front of people. Does this program help bring that out?
Definitely.
How so? Modest, I saw you jump forward as soon as I said that.
You don't have to talk in front of people if you really don't want to. I mean, there's other positions you can hold, like clerk or front or back bailiff, where you don't necessarily have to say more than like a few sentences. Or you can just sit and watch or be in the jury, because there's always more to influencing someone's life than actually speaking with them, if you know what I mean.
So does Judge Shumate encourage you all to get up and speak or to take on the role of defense or prosecuting attorney at some point?
Every time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do it. You can't do it every single time because there's several students that all want their, or some, not all maybe,
Right.
but most want their chance to be able to do that too. Is that correct?
Yes.
John, how many students did you all have last year? Do you know?
I do not know an exact number, but I'd have to say probably over 60.
So it was 100 students that Judge Shumate's off
It was
camera
over
giving
60.
us giving us hand signs, telling us how many. So when you get 100 students in there, does it make it kind of crowded? You're kind of competing to be able to do some of this.
Sure.
So how does that work? Is it just?
Well, you just tell Miss Douglas, who usually handles the cases, that you want to do it, and she'll find you a spot to be able to do something. She always finds you a spot. So.
John, let me ask you this. Do you get to meet other people from other schools, and how's that been?
Yes, you do. I'm from North Hardin Christian, so we don't really connect with the other schools. as we're not in the same sports branch.
Right.
And seeing other people from different schools is a great opportunity for me because I get to meet new people like Terry or Amadis, and it's great to have different friends from different areas.
And Amadis, I know with you all being at North Hardin, even though you have interaction with other schools through sports activities, how's this been to interact with other schools?
Actually, I made a friend who's also on the executive committee, and she goes to E-Town, Yasmin, and it was cool because I and her had a mutual friend. So like she had heard about me through the friend, and so we kind of like became friends and then became better friends because of how interconnected we were.
So this program even helps build up friendships, correct? How's it influenced you by being with other schools? Is it different?
Yes, well, I would have never met some of the people I did from Central or John or even LaRue County. I would have never thought that it was possible to meet them. You know, it's a big state, Kentucky is.
And Terry, since you now have Nelson County coming in this year, how do y'all feel about the other county coming in?
I'm glad it's coming in, but I think that eventually, if they are such a strong presence, they could start one in their own county.
Amadis, every time I ask Amadis, I watch Amadis lean forward. So go ahead.
I mean, I'm really excited. That's it.
Okay. I guess, you know, one of the things that is so interesting is that you all train for a certain time before you actually come in, and I think some people that don't know much about teen court don't realize that you all have to prepare and train for a certain period of time before you ever start. And is the training the same every year? Because now you all are in your second year of this, or you've been doing this for 2 years. Have you noticed that the training is the same, or do you learn something new every year?
Well, this will be our second year. We've only done it once.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So.
Okay. So people that you had worked with before that had been through this program would they agree that they learn something new every year?
I guarantee it.
Okay. I'm just curious, John, what are you thinking about as a career as far as, of course, you're a freshman, so I mean, you've got 4 years of, you freshman this year?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got 4 years going here. What are you thinking about doing as far as a career?
I really actually don't know what I want to do.
Okay. So does this kind of help gear you or guide you that way?
I'm definitely thinking about different things because of it.
Okay. Amadis?
Well, I do like law, and this has really helped me see that this is like this is like a real possible opportunity for me. Like I could go into law school, you know?
Right.
And it's great to be able to explore new opportunities, for sure.
Okay. Terry?
Actually, I want to be a pastor, so I don't want to do anything law related, but
Well, it is law. You know, the book was the law back during the day, so yeah, it's kind of the law. I mean, in a roundabout way, absolutely. But it helps you with your public speaking skills, correct?
correct.
And being able to understand people a little bit better, maybe.
Yes.
How does that background with wanting to be a pastor help you when you're deciding? Because Amadis put that, said it kind of makes it surreal for her and might even influence her decision. How does that with you with the religious background? How does that affect you?
You get to meet, again, all sorts of people. Defendants are different than the people sitting in teen court sometimes, so you get to meet a wide variety of people from all kinds of backgrounds.
Has anything that while you were in teen court that you saw a defendant come forward in the case actually bothered you? John, has that ever occurred with you?
Yes, it has. It's really upsetting sometimes to see, like, whenever they talk about their lives, it's really upsetting to hear about it, and that's happening in the community.
And Monis, how do you deal with that when you hear something that is upsetting like that? Does it bother you, or is it easy for you to get over it? To kind of explain, because I'm sure some of the people would want to know these things.
Right. There are cases, in my experience, of course, there's been cases that has bothered me like in two different ways, really. There's cases that bother me because of like the defendant felt the need to do what they did. Like, you know, like that's our society. This is happening here in Hardin County. And then there are the cases where you feel bad for the defendant because that's their life. Like, and I can't imagine sometimes living here that there are some people who are in certain circumstances that I wouldn't be able to see myself being in, you know? Like, that's, and of course you can't really talk about it outside of teen court.
Sure.
So,
but those are things that young people are going to want to know. How's it going to bother me? Is it going to affect me any? And of course, every experience we have affects us in some way. Terry, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, if it bothers you, the best thing you can do is go through the process of, if you're in the jury, to make the best decision according to it. And we have the creative kind of, you try to think outside the box with punishments, so you try to not actually put a burden on them, but to actually show them, like, to get them back with the community more than anything.
And I think something else that the young people would say with you all saying that is, does it discourage you from being part of this?
Not at all.
Okay. Amadis, I see you shaking your head. John as well. Would you all agree with that?
yeah.
Okay. With this going on this next year, another thing people might ask, especially folks that are very studious and worried about their grades, does this cause a problem with study habits and so on?
No, it doesn't for me anyway.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Wouldn't say so.
Okay, and I know that a lot of colleges want to see extracurricular activities in your background. Amadis, you nodded your head again.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, they want to see some of that, and this would be a great way, Terry, I guess, to show some of those extracurricular, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, we're almost done with our show, and it goes by quick when we've got lots of people on the show, but I know that there's been some teen court alumni that have come and talked to you all as well, correct? Tell us how you felt seeing them either in their career or in college. What did they say to you? How did it affect you?
Well, showing that you really do learn quite a bit in teen court, and you actually get to carry that into college or the career you're going into afterwards.
Okay. Modest?
Well, they were also like collected, like Judge Shumate, and I was like, I want to be like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. John?
They seemed very happy with their choice of doing teen court all the way through, and I liked that.
You know, it's my understanding that there's been 4 or 5 attorneys already that are attorneys practicing that have been through teen court. I know that there's a couple of Elizabethtown police officers, and one of them's the PIO, Public Information Officer, that is currently there. And so it's cool to see some of them after they've come out, correct, and in their jobs. Has it influenced you all to say, yeah, that's what I want to do? Amadis, you're kind of on the fence there, right?
A little bit. I mean, I don't know. But
Would you encourage people to come out and try teen court if they are thinking about having a career in law?
Even if you're not thinking about having a career in law, it could help you rule it before maybe being interested, or rule it out completely.
Okay. Well, thank you all for being part of our show today, and I encourage you all to have a great year. I know you will, with Judge Shumate and all the other participants and several of the attorneys. Y'all may not know this, but several local attorneys volunteer their time to work with these young people so that they can prepare them for cases. Thank you all for changing the world one person at a time. Absolutely. And thank you all for joining us here on Hardin County Education and Community TV, where we like to keep you informed on what's going on all around this great community that we call Hardin County. I'm Bryce Shumate from Hardin County Government. Remember, school's getting ready to start. That means buses are going to be starting to roll. People are going to be standing out at the bus stops. Please be careful and pay attention to what's going on, and enjoy the rest of your summer. Have a great day.